right. Jennie-Ann and Marcus of Avatarium, welcome to 69 Face of. How are you guys doing today?
Doing fine.
Yeah.
I hope the sound will be good. It seems like it's coming and going, but we will try here. We're doing very fine. It's nice to see you and meet you.
Likewise. Between You, God, the Devil, and the Dead is the first album in 3 years. What's been going on in the last 3 years with the band?
We've been
Good question.
writing music and
Yeah.
living our lives, with family and everything. But we did a tour actually. When was it?
Yeah.
21?
Yeah, 22. 23, yeah, 23. That's correct.
Right.
Yes, we haven't. We have not been playing in the US at all, and so we've done festivals and some short tours here in Europe and writing music. So that's what we've done since the last album. We keep this going and in our own rhythm, I would say.
And that's the best rhythm to have. Now, how long did it take you to write and complete this new album?
We worked on the album for 1.5 years, but we're doing other stuff as well. We work 2 days a week, usually, when we write music. So that's how we do it. And I work, of course, together 2 days a week, and I work quite much by myself and Jennie-Ann when you have the time. So, but that's the schedule. And then at times, when we finish the album, then it's even more, of course, more days because we're trying to finish it and we're putting in more time, in the evenings and the weekends and everything. But that's the schedule, and it's a good way because gives us opportunity to pause from the music a little bit. Like if you write Monday, Tuesday, and then we come back a few days later and we can listen to the stuff and think about it and with fresh ears, so to speak. So it's a good way for us.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to develop that type of balance?
Well, I think this is the third album that we write together. So we worked out a structure that works for us, and some things you work out and something will be worked out for you because there's an ongoing life with obligations and things you have to manage. I'm sure most of you who will see this or listen to this will know. So it is a choice, but it's also to find a way to make this work in life in general.
Yeah.
So and the process of writing might have looked different when we wrote the Fire I Long For album.
Yeah.
At that time we had just become parents. So that will of course inevitably affect the time you have and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's this time it worked very, very well, this way, but we'll see, it's usually different every time. So, but with this thing worked good. So maybe we'll continue like this.
We'll see. Did you have a plan in mind as to what kind of a record you wanted to make?
Yeah, we had, but you never know because the music sometimes take you somewhere else than where you want to go. I think that's the cool thing with writing music, and for us, it's a way of try to follow the music and see what happens. And even though we have a plan of a certain song style or whatever, sometimes it just doesn't work, but it can become a completely different song, but still a good one. So it's fun. We're trying to learn to listen to this whatever it is, energies or whatever it is that leads you, and it's intuition and different energies.
And I think that means you have to have some trust and sometimes bravery to just to listen and to follow that sort of intuition or that sort of those impulses.
Yeah, and there's also a parallel thing between us because we have this agreement that both of us always have to be keen on the idea. to like it. And if one of us thinks, no, I don't think this is a good way, you know, this direction is not good for this song, or this special thing part in this song is not good, then okay, throw it away, try something different. So that's also is like a parallel thing that seems to work quite good for us, I would say.
Yeah.
So the stars simply need to align.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes they are aligned, sometimes not.
The title Between You, God, the Devil, and the Dead sounds very mysterious and intriguing. Care to explain the story behind it?
No.
No.
No, actually not. I mean, I often get these questions when it comes to lyrics, and I'm like, I don't. Of course, I can dig into what the meaning might be for me, but the great thing about a good lyric is that people can interpret and have, you know, their own thoughts and emotions about what's in there. But when it comes to this, the title track, it was the first song we started with, and actually the last song we finished for the album. And I had that idea just lying around, and we brought acoustic guitars, sat down, and I had that phrase going on, and the chorus it was just there. And then we couldn't finish it. We liked what it sounded like, but we just let it rest. And so I think I rewrote that verse 4 times or something. It was difficult to get it right. But yeah, it's so we liked what it sounded like, that phrase. And it's quite long, but I think it's a good album title. I like it.
But, you know, we would like lyrics that trigger your, you know, imagination and get the people who listen, get their creative minds going. So you know, yeah.
My interpretation of that song is finding yourself at the crossroads and trying to figure out which way to go.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Not a bad one.
Yeah.
I think we have all these. That's something we, you know, that's happened again and again in life. You know, you always have to make these choices. Mm-hmm. So sometimes more dramatic, sometimes smaller, but I think all these choices are important.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Writing music we often talk about, it's, I mean, if obviously we like to write music, but it's also, and part of it is also that it's challenging, and it's so difficult to write something that means something to yourself, and that, you know, we have this high bar or ambitions. So I think it's extremely difficult to write good music. and doing so is also means that you constantly face different sort of crossroads. You will be presented to all these crossroads of choosing which way to go in the music, and not only crossroads, but you have all these various problems to solve along the way. How do we connect these pieces, or how do we get it to work and together and become something more than just the sort of the parts in themselves? So yeah.
So the version of the thing of writing a song or an album is the short version of trying to live a good life. It's like making the right choices all the time.
And be able to solve all the problems that come with it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What other songs on the album you feel strongly about?
Well, all of them, I think. This is, I think it's, when we talked, I mean, we talked quite a lot about the album during this this promotional period of doing promotion, and feel that the album is quite coherent, and you know, it's and these are quite strong.
We're extremely happy about that, because it's not easy to make an album that, like, from the start to the end, feels good and it has a good flow, because that's how we try to write an album, not just to make a bunch of songs that we like. We really try to make an album that is interesting to listen to. So we're extremely happy about that. But I think one of my favorites is actually Being with the Dead. It's been your favorite for you liked it for a long time. I kind of liked it, but I'm starting to like it more and more. It's I'm quite happy about that song.
Yeah. It's besides from being a really sort of cool rock song with a sort of mean and odd guitar riff in the beginning, it has this sort of hopeful chorus that opens up in a major chord, which I love. So I think that that dynamic and that contrast between the sort of really heavy verse and that sort of positive chorus is great. I really like that.
We usually say this, but we like to, always, even the music is dark and heavy and deal with, a lot of dark things and thoughts, but we always want to bring in hope, because hope is extremely important. We always need to have hope. So even from the start, we always try to bring in, the light, through the dark clouds, in the music. So, and that song has that.
Yeah.
So deep down inside, there's always a positive message lurking somewhere in there. You have to.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Tell me about the album cover.
Well, it's
it's blue.
It's blue, and it, besides from blue, it has this great silver print. And if you buy the vinyl, which I think you should, then it's also a tactile experience, because it's this heavy, thick cardboard, and so it feels nice to hold.
The record company really they didn't cut corners. They really. It's well done. It's well not done. Cheap. They're not trying to.
No.
It looks.
So I get that. When we got it, I was. I took off the plastic and was like, wow, because I grew up in the 80s, and my first record was a vinyl that I bought for myself. So having that feeling again of reading on the back and looking at the pictures and so on. So we collaborated with as we have before, with Erik Rovanperä here in Sweden. He's an artist, and you can come to him with your crazy ideas, and he will translate that into his vision that seems to suit us very well. And I think
it's amazing.
Yeah. So it's I'm very happy about it.
Not only do I love the album cover, but it reminded me of another record that I know, dating back to 1970, album from Kevin Ayers, and I'll show you the cover. Look at this, and you see
Yeah, that's nice.
You are in good company, trust me.
Oh, that's good to hear.
That's true. Wow, very cool.
So, outstanding record. If you never heard it, definitely. And he used to be in Soft Machine. He did some work with Mike Oldfield. Passed away a few years ago, but an amazing musician, that's for sure.
Well, we have to send us want to listen to it.
Do you have any plans for touring on this album?
Yeah, we have. We have a situation right now where it's quite hard for us to tour, and especially do long tours. So we have festivals booked this summer. So we're gonna in Europe. In Europe, we have festivals, and we have a lot of. We've been contacted about doing things. So we will see. We will try to make some live shows.
Yeah.
So, but we have to kind of figure out how we can do it, because it's not easy for us in our live situation, and it's not easy for almost anyone right now to tour, because it's so hard to economical wise to not end up in debt when you tour.
Yeah.
So it's a hard situation in many ways, but we love to play live, and for us, when we've been doing a few tours, and I think it's been very meaningful for us, and it changed us quite much to be out on tour and meet the fans of our music and talk to them and see the reactions we play, because then it gets real somehow. Something happens to you, it changes you. So I'm very happy that we've done that. And so of course we want to do it more.
Now, being based in Chicago, United States, any chance of you coming to US?
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, would love to.
We have to sneak down in Kalmar's suitcases next time they go to the States and jump up and see if we can. No, but of course we want to play in the States. I did that with Evergrey, and of course we want to do it with Avatarium. So we hoped for it, but it's nothing planned at the moment.
Yeah, I know things are rough, but if there's a chance, I'm sure there are fans who would appreciate that.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
We would too, of course.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You had been a band for about 10, 12 years. How would you describe your musical evolution?
Good, especially for us, since the first album, Leif Edling wrote the whole album, and the second album as well, and most of the third album. But we were always involved in the arrangements and all these kind of things from the start of the production. I produced the albums, and so. But the main difference is, of course, that we write all the material on this album, and that has been. That's quite a big thing, I would say. So for us, and for the band, it's hard for us to say, but I love all our albums, but I think when you listen to our last album, it's important that it sounds the way it sounds, and that it is the way it is for us, because. Yeah, I don't know how to say this, but it's just it's been important for us to be able to get in this direction. And I can't really explain what it is, but you can say maybe it's more emotional, but it's been emotional all the time, and but it's getting a little bit different way of emotion, maybe a little bit more of the hope thing in the music. I don't know, but it's certainly even more of us, what we are.
Yeah, and that is what will happen when you write the music yourself. You will be put yourself in there in between those lines. You will leave your mark of yourself in the music in a different way. That's just how it is. So and besides from I think it our collaboration also, of course, a personal sort of growth, and it's 10 years in a person's or human being's life. Hopefully things happen and you're not in the same place. I am not. I know, of course, there's the core, one's personality, but so many things have happened, and just by these 3 albums, you can hear. I think you can hear that we've grown, and there's this bigger confidence and maturity. Yeah.
So it's and we took Leif Edling, who is our great friend and we really look up to. He's amazing. Who started this? So it's also like it was quite scary to take over the writing, thing, and so I think that when we managed to do that and do it in a way that we can feel is on the right level, so to speak, that also meant a lot for us, because I think we were quite scared when we did the Fire Long For when we started to write that album. And now we're more like, okay, we can do this, and but we do it a little bit different, which is how it's supposed to be.
I think the use of word emotion is very proper because when I listen to your music, um, it's really all about emotions. It's when I walk away, I remember more how I felt while
Mm.
listening to the album as opposed to how it sounded.
Cool. That's nice.
Good.
I like that.
That's good.
That's good.
Lyrically, what themes interest you?
Well, since the onset, we have not shied away from these big existential questions. I mean, life and death, meaning, and sort of the human condition of being lonely, being born lonely, and alone, and dying alone, and I mean these questions and everything in between. So I think it's very, I feel lucky in that sense to have music to channel, a place to channel all these questions that I guess most people have, and I have music to do that. And for us, I mean, we obviously we live together, so that we have these, topics. These topics and these questions are sort of a constant. We live with the music and these themes
Yeah,
that we
talk
write
about
about. So, which I think is helpful, and you could probably hear that as well. It's like, okay, these people have been thinking about it a bit, and now they want to ask us these questions as well.
Yeah, well, I think that because we mentioned
Yeah.
being with the dead, and that's a typical example of something we've been talking about,
Yeah.
and how we kind of build the music around the theme and the sounds around the theme, and the arrangements orchestrate this theme that the song has. So sometimes it gets like thoughts who gets orchestrated, and but sometimes of course it's just a song. We try to
Yeah.
we try to make
and
good
it's not the lyrics are not, it's not poetry, it is lyrics, and so I think that's, it differs from just, if you could consider it as poetry if you want to, I guess, but it still needs to work with the music. And that means, as a singer, I also have my singing in mind when I write these lyrics. It's also about being comfortable with the words and the possibility of phrasing these words put together. So there's so many there's so many details and things to think about when you write lyrics, which is great. It's a great thing. You can work with it your whole life and not be content or finished, or yeah.
Does the nature of your personal relationship translate into the music?
You mean a personal relationship between us, or yeah? Yeah, it translates into the music that we, of course, we have. As Marcus said, we have this sort of basic sort of idea that both of us need to like it, and that's we've carved out that way of working. But sometimes it's, I think I mean, I want to be the best I can for you, and yeah, because I respect you, and I think that is helpful when it comes to achievement. I want to sing as good as I possibly can. I care about what you think about me, musical wise. So and I think that sort of pushes the boundaries in a positive way. You trigger my ambition in a way that is helpful. And I don't think you mean to do that, but I feel that, and it just, for me, it just happens. So I think
it's living together, of course, affects you because we talk about things. We listen to the same music almost all the time, and because we spend a lot of time together, and so we listen to kind of the same music. We talk about the same music. We talk about subjects, the same things. So of course, it's a tight relationship, and I said this before, and I think a lot of the great bands that I really like. They had this kind of relationship, like we talk about the early Judas Priest stuff and Black Sabbath. You know, they live together and they spend time together and they get to know each other very well. So something like that it's important. So I think it's a good thing. And of course we have the band members who also bring in, you know, our drummer Andreas Habo and Mats Rydström and Rickard Nilsson who plays keyboards. They bring in a lot, and they also are close friends. But we are, you know, we spend all time together, a lot of the time together.
Yeah.
No choice. If you were to look back at all of your releases, which album marks the turning point for you?
The turning point.
Has there been a turning point?
Or is it now?
Is it now?
It might be.
It must be.
Might be this. You know, they always talk about the third album, and actually, this is the third album that we write. So it's the sixth album with Avatarium, but it's our third, you know, album that we write. So you never know. But you know, I think it was really important what happened when me and Jennie-Ann and Leif Edling started to make the first album. That was something that really changed all of us, especially. I mean, for me, I can only talk about me because to me it was a life-changing thing that we started this band. So the first album is really important, of course, for me.
Yeah, and for me, you know, I didn't expect this to happen. So that was such a turning point in life that you're all of a sudden you're in this situation. Of course, I knew what you were working with and doing and so on. But I don't come from a hard rock or metal background, so I couldn't relate to that other than seeing you or what you did. And so that was, of course, a turning point musical wise, and also a life-changing thing because it has. I mean, it's such a big part of our.
Yeah, it has changed us a lot.
Yeah, and all the touring and focus on being in the studio, we're arranging, producing, performing. Yeah.
Finally, are there any misconceptions regarding Avatarium that in European people don't seem to get?
That's European or any. I don't know if people have that many.
I'm like, do they think anything about that? I don't know. And if they do, they can just ask me.
It seems like sometimes I'm like the people who contacts us and that we meet when we play live shows are most of the time they are almost always so nice. It's and interesting people and you know, and respectful and you know,
generally very interested in music, in all kinds of music.
So
which is it's such a privilege. We get to, I mean, because our music is somewhat challenging, or I mean, it demands your attention. It's not something you put on in the background. I would say it needs your attention, and we're very lucky in that sense to have that clever and musically interested audience. So as you say, it's many times it's just friend material.
You talk to people like this could be a good friend of mine, you know? And it happens many times. So it's surprising. It's very surprising, I would say. So I don't know. I don't know what people think about us. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
Music tends to open the doors.
Yeah.
For me, anywhere I go. So I can relate to that concept. Jennie-Ann and Marcus, thank you so much for taking the time and speaking with me. And good luck with the new record.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you.